Alright, Shalom. I'd like to give all praises and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopefully elect. This is your brother Ahmad Bayan coming to you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Now this little lesson here, I know it ain't gonna be long, but as you can see on your screen, renew. Now I was walking in the kitchen there and I saw this box, saying renew, refresh clothes, refresh life, right? And same time the spirit that thought about the spirit, saying that as we in this truth, we try to keep our mind on the coming of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? And we focus on that mostly throughout the days, how it will be like when the Lord return and so forth. But as I say, the lesson that I'm going into is renew, right? Because it have another video that I was actually going to make, but since I see the box there, I just say, well, hey, the spirit jump on me to do a video with this, right? So I'm gonna just zoom in, right? Renew, refresh clothes, refresh life. Alright, so saying that we in this truth, we ought to have that renewed mind, as the scriptures say, that's roughly paraphrasing. We ought to put aside that old man and put on that new man, right? We ought to be renewed, alright? We ought to be refreshed, that refreshed clothes that you see in here, we ought to have that refresh garments, we had to take off that old garment, we had to take out that smelly stink, garment that is on us. Alright, now the refresh life, that is also, that will go into the old ways, the old spirit that you had in the world, you refresh your life around, to turn back to your Ba'ashem Yahushai, because as we know, this truth is the only thing that will set us free. This truth is the only thing that will keep us in tune, right, till the coming of the Lord, who the world is ignorantly called Jesus Christ. His name is Yahushai, Hamashiach, and his father's name is Yahweh. Alright, so that's the name of the Father and that's the name of the Son. Alright, Yahweh, why Yahushai? Alright, so we wait for the Yahushai return, to bring back and to restore order on this earth again. Alright, now I will bring out this scripture. This is the book Romans. Let's bear with me, Baba Kusha. Right, this is the book of Romans, Romans 12 and 1. It reads, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the miracles of power, that ye present your bodies as a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto power, which is your responsible service. Alright, so this is our responsible service, to be as being renewed. All right, as being renewed in this truth, you know, our duty is to, as men, right? I'll make sure and say that as men, we have to, we have to, we have a job to do. All right, and our main job is to preach this word. All right, is to we come in, and when we come in as babes, you know. And the apostles of the Great Millstone, you know, they give the understanding, they teach, you know. Also the bishops and the elders of the Great Millstone, you know, they teach this word, right? We learn under them. All right, and by we learning, you know, we basically come like we freshen our clothing, you know, that old clothing that we had in the world, we putting out that old man, you know, and gathering the clean clothes onto us, right? We freshen our life around, you know, coming out of that way of thinking, that way of operating the worldly way, right? We don't want to keep that in our mind. All right, so lucky for the little noise in the background, you know. Now it says here, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of power. All right, and our will to as it says here, you know, the will of power, right? The Lord bring us out of that way of thinking, that worldly way. He bring us out of that worldly way, right? And bring us into this truth, you know, where our mind are refreshed, you know. Our whole life is turned around, you know. You will lose friends, you will lose family members, you know. People will look at you differently. All right, people will look at you differently because why? You're not of the world anymore. All right, and some might lock you off, you know, and it's all good. And you also might lock off some, you know, and that is also good, right? Because the whole fact of the matter is we have the works to push. All right. All right, Salaki Ali. All right, so let me continue. It reads here. Now this is the book of Romans 12 and 3. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as power has dealt to every man the measure of faith. All right. So we had to have faith in this also. All right. We had to have faith in this, because without faith, you know, how we will be in this truth, you know. You had to have faith to be in this truth at the end of the day. All right, it makes sense. All right. Now there's the book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah 46 and verse 8. It reads, remember this and show yourselves men, bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Right? You had to remember that you had to grow up and be a man in this truth. You know, you're not a little boy, you know. You come into this truth, you come in this truth, as I say, you come in as a babe, you know, and you're taking the the doctrines, you're learning the doctrines from the apostles of the Great Millstone and the other elders, you know, the bishops, you know, who under that umbrella, you know, you learn. And by you learning, you will grasp enough knowledge, right, where it is you now have to go out and teach. All right, now you can't fear to do this teaching. You can't fear to go out on the highways and hedges to learn, to teach others. All right, you had to grow some balls and go out there, you know, because you had to show yourself a man. All right, you had to do the works of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, and all this is coming straight down to faith, you know, by renewing, you know, your mind, you know, putting on the clean garments, you know, changing that old wicked life that you had before, you know. This is what it is about. All right, now the book I'm gonna say the book Ezekiel 11 and 5. It reads, "And the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh fell upon me and said unto me, Speak thus saying, the Lord, speak thus saying, speak thus saith the Lord, thus have ye said, O house of Israel, for I know the things that come into your mind, every one of them." All right, so the Lord knows us better than we know ourselves, you know. And the reason the Lord will bring you into this truth is because you have some gift that He had put in you, that He need you to do this work, you know, in order to push this word better. You know, every man will have a different lot, you know, every man will have a different gift. All right, also the woman, they will have different gifts, right? Now, it's not for a woman to go out and teach, to preach this word. They are not to do that, you know. You have to understand the order. All right, but you also have to understand that it have the woman out there who could be able to sew, who could be able to help out the ministry in that way by sewing the garments for the brothers, you know. And it will also have the woman who could cook, you know, who could be able to cook for the men of the Lord, you know, the brothers when it is this feast time and whatnot, you know. Women will have their part to shine. All right, also by listening and learning in silence and being obedient, to your husband, you know. This is and keeping your head covered and so forth, and dressing in the right apparels. All right, this is what the woman will have to do. But you know, as the men have to go out there and work. All right, you have to go out there and work for Esau Edom here. That's the physical work. We all have to pray to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for that daily bread. All right, and that's how we get our daily bread, you know, by going out there and work. But we also get our daily bread by, you know, having faith, by, you know, balancing that work of the world and then balancing this work of the Heavenly Father, you know, as I was talking about, you know. You had to have that different mind, you know, of knowing that we here to do our job, you know. This is basically a second job, right from your original job that you're doing out in the world. All right, this is your job. All right, to push this work, to open the eyes of the blinded Israelites, you know, which are the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and the Native American Indians. All right, and also the the works that we're doing, all right, the works that we're doing, we have to make sure and always keep that mindset that we came out of the world, you know, we came out of the world from doing wickedness, you know. The Lord found favor in us, you know. It has some men who just stay in the truth, it has some men who just get sifted out the truth, all right. So don't always think that, oh, as soon as you reach in the truth, you know, you found out that there's a Hebrew Israelite, and you know, and you want to say, well, hey, you're rich, you know, I part of the elect. No, you're not. We don't know who's the elect, you know. That's why we say, Lord willing, you know, we be part of that hopeful elect number, all right. But this is part of our job that we do. We are watchmen at the end of the day, all right. This is the book of 2 Corinthians 8 and 19. It reads, and not that only, but who was also chosen of the churches to travel with us with his grace, with this grace, which is administered by us to glory of the same Lord Yahushua, and declaration of your ready mind. All right. So we, as I say, we come into this, you know, this is our church, right? And we in this here, we as the men of the Lord, you know, Lord willing, we be part of that hopefully elect number, you know. We are all put together, we are that one body, you know. We ought to have that one mind, you know. We ought to be ready at all times, all right, because this work is not no walk in the garden, you know. This is serious thing, all right. All right, this is serious thing. This is not no ordinary church that we know about, you know, that people just go in this building and call upon those wicked names and whatnot, you know. That this is not that type of church, all right. What we do everything by the book, all right, to the best of our ability. And what book is that? The gospel. What book is that? The Bible, you know. And the phone had a chime on that, you know. We follow the ways that the Lord wants us to follow, you know. But as again, we do it at the best of our ability, you know. You can't be over righteous at the end of the day, because you know you could lose your life. You could end up doing a fast and you end up starving yourself to death, you know. You could end up losing a job. Why? Because you're over righteous. So it's about balance also, right? So by renewing your mind, you have to know that you have to balance everything, you know, because the Lord is not an author of confusion, you know, and the Lord deal with balance. Just how it have good and evil, just like how it have good and evil, that is our balance, all right. Now in the book of Philippians 1 and 27, it reads, only let your conversation be as it becometh the gospel of Hamashiach, that whether I come and see you or else be absent, I may hear of your affairs, that ye stand fast in one spirit, with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. Right? So we are to have that one spirit, that one mind. As I say, this whole ministry that we are in, all right, we make up one body, you know. Every man is like a brick, all right. You put the brick, you take the cement and you cement that down properly, all right, and we build ourselves up, you know, we build that house, all right, and that way we stand firm, all right, we stand firm in this truth, you know, by having that faith, by waiting on Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, knowing that he is coming, he is returning, you know, and he's right around the corner, all right. And also once we are in this truth, when we are around the brothers, all right, once we are around the Akim, you have to know that, all right, you're around the Akim, you'll be in a particular way, you know, you don't want to show a certain side of you out there, like that you're sincere, and then when you're behind the brother's back or you're behind closed doors, you're doing something else, because at the end of the day, the Lord's eyes is 10 times brighter than the sun. You know, let me get that. That you will get that in the book of Sirach, also known as the book of Ecclesiasticus. 23 and 19. Yeah. It reads, Ecclesiasticus 23 and 19, such a man only feareth the eyes of men. Alright, so we can't be fearing the men. You can't be fearing Esau, Edom, you know, the top banking families and these efforts and them. You can't be studying that. You can't be fearing, you know, men, you know, who just like you walk in the streets and walk in the places, you know. Alright? And know it not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, all right, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts, all right. So the Lord will figure out what you're doing. You know, it are the angels out there who just be searching and looking and watching us every day, all right. So we had to, by keeping that renewed, by having that renewing of your mind, you know, you had to keep in mind all the time that the angels always watching, you know. So you had to be on your P's and Q's, you know. You don't want the Lord to come back and catch you relaxing, not doing this work, all right. You want the Lord to come and make sure, you want the Lord to come back and see you actually doing the work. You want him to come back and see that he could find faith on the earth, all right. And you want to be one of those brothers. Also you sisters, you want to be one of those sisters, you know, showing that you're showing the Lord that you have faith. So when he come back, he could say, yeah, you know, look, I seeing faith there with this person, look, I seeing faith with that person, you know. It will be a good pleasure to be part of this hopeful elect group, you know. Lord willing, we be part of it, all right. So I will just end it off with this. This is the book of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. It reads, I just say it here, Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the counsel, the consolation. Salakia. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Heavenly Father and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Alright, so this is our duty. Our duty is to serve Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You know, we get called out of the world, we get called into this truth to do our job, you know, and that is all we have to do. Let's do our job. Alright, we're working for that 1 penny, we're working for that crown at the end of the day, you know, because at the end of the day, this is the only person that we had to exalt. This name we had to exalt, which is Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai. You know, those two names in the Hebrew tongue is the names that we exalt, is the name that we call upon, is the names that we pray to. Alright, and you will get all those things once you renew your mind and you change those filthy garments, you know. Alright, so This is what we aiming for, you know, this crown, you know, the 1 penny. All right. So I hope this lesson was edifying, you know. I'd like to give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopefully elect. Shalom. And don't forget to keep your mind renewed, you know. Keep that clean garments on and make sure your life, you know, it stay on the right track, you know, to the kingdom of heaven. Shalom Israel. Shalom.